Laura and welcome to class today. Today's class is going to be a standing workout for the whole body. So as always, we want to make sure that we're looking after our body and choosing the options that are appropriate for us. So check in with your body throughout and just take a break if you need. Choose an alternative exercise as well if you need. Now we're going to need today a prop, and that's going to be a resistance band. Now I've got a medium strength resistance band. You can use whatever strength you like. Obviously the harder it is, the harder the exercise is going to be. And also you can do all of the exercises without a band also. So before we get started, we're just going to pop our band right in front of our feet. And then we're going to get started. So you stay facing front. I'm going to probably change my direction a little so you can see. So we're going to start from our feet in a standing position, and we're just going to check that our feet are directly underneath our hips. So what I like to do is line up my two pelvic bones with the centre of my knees and the centre of my ankles. So actually my feet are slightly narrower than the width of my pelvis. Checking that both feet are facing forwards, and we're going to lift all 10 toes up, spread them really wide, and then place from the little toe, each toe individually back to the ground. And I want you to feel how the big toe, the little toe and the centre of the heel are heavy and equally weighted on the floor. From there, draw up on the thighs and soften your knees. So we don't want to feel that we're locking through the knee joints. And then for keeping that alignment, we're now going to find our neutral pelvis and spine. So bringing one hand to the lower belly and one hand to the small of your lower back. And keeping the knees soft, you're going to begin to tip the pelvis forwards and then tip the pelvis backwards. And at the same time as moving your pelvis, you're trying to keep the rib cage, the neck and the head really, really still. So we're just isolating the movement of the pelvis and the lower back. And just moving within a range that feels comfortable for us. We're just going to check that that range allows us to keep that small bend in the knees. And we're not allowing the knees to bend and straighten as we do that, because the bending and straightening of the knees will automatically move the pelvis. Now we're going to start to find the centre of your backwards and forwards tilt to hopefully bring us into neutral. And we're just going to double check that at the front of our pelvis. So place the hands on the front of your pelvis and double check that your two pelvic bones and your pubic bone are level with each other. And the triangle that those three bones create is parallel to the wall in front. Now from there, elongate through the rest of your spine, reach the crown of your head up, and just check that the rib cage is over the pelvis. The shoulders are relaxed and the head is directly over the shoulders. So we've brought our pelvis and our spine into our neutral alignment, or close to neutral that our spine allows us. And we're going to keep that throughout and really think about this throughout. So hands to front bottom ribs, slide them wide for your thoracic breath. Breathing in through the nose and deeply out through the mouth. Expanding the ribs to the sides and to the back. So trying to imagine the side ribs reaching to the side walls and noticing how the rib cage narrows underneath your hands. Now this breathing is going to help us connect with our deep abdominal muscles. So on your next out breath, gently lift the pelvic floor up between the thighs. Control that as you breathe in. And on the following out breath, draw the navel in towards the spine. But continue to breathe now, keeping the control of the pelvic floor and navel to spine. So we want to feel that that connection is gentle so that it's not changing our breath, but it's definitely not restricting our breathing. Keeping with our breath, we're going to release our arms down now. Taking an in breath, lift the shoulders up to the ears, and as you breathe out, roll the shoulders back and down. Inhaling to lift. And as you exhale, notice how the shoulders draw in towards the spine, the chest widens. And we're just going to do two more. Now as the shoulders drop down, almost feel like your arms are becoming heavier, the fingertips reach further to the ground. And last one, as the shoulders drop, feel the crown of the head lift tall. Okay, keep the arms nice and heavy. Rotate your head to look over one shoulder. Come back to center and turn to the opposite side. And as we're doing this, we're trying to keep the rib cage, the pelvis, the rest of the spine, apart from the neck, the cervical spine, nice and still. Bringing the head back to center this time. And we're going to start to float our arms. We're going to go to shoulder height to begin. And then lowering down. So using your in-breath to float the arms up and using your out-breath to lower them down. Now each time you lift the arms up, imagine sliding the shoulder blades further down your rib cage. And if you can, now we're going to go a little bit higher. So the higher we go, the more challenging it is to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. So we're only going to go as high as we can, maintain that. Sometimes if we are tight in the shoulders will definitely lift to allow our arms to lift higher. And we want to find that our back muscles are helping to stabilize the shoulders. Now the next time we come down, we're going to bring our hands to our pelvis. Checking the pelvic bones are level again. We're going to start to shift our weight sideways onto our right leg. Our right leg is now the heavy leg, the left leg is now the light leg. And then we're going to shift. We're going to keep changing sides, and what I want you to check into is that the pelvis isn't popping out to the side, it isn't moving from underneath the rib cage, the whole body is moving as one, and we're also not leaning to the side. This time as we sway to the right, we're going to keep the weight on our right leg, we're going to peel the left heel off the ground, lift to the toes, and if you can, you're going to raise the left leg off the ground, lowering it back down, toes, ball, heel. Shift your weight onto the left and do exactly the same with the right. So for me, my breath would be inhale to shift, exhale to lift, inhale to lower, and exhale to move. Good. So keep going side to side. Again, just breathing naturally. So if your breath is a little bit slower than that, take it. You may only take an inhale and an exhale for this, and that's fine. So this is just getting us used to balancing, because we're going to do more of a balance challenge later on. When the right foot finds the mat this time, we're going to stay here. I'm going to angle myself this way. Bring your pinky fingers into your hip creases. This is going to guide us where we're moving from. Keeping the knees soft, the legs straight, we're going to hinge forwards. Sinking the hips back, chest comes forwards, but we think of drawing the shoulder blades into the spine. And then lift the body up, push the hips forwards over the thigh bones and the feet. And again, sinking the hips back, chest comes forward. You're only going to go as far as you can. Keep your spine long. So we're almost imagining that we've got a pole from the crown of our head to our tailbone. We can't physically bend our spine forwards or arch our spine backwards. We can only move from our hip joints. So it depends how far we go forwards as to the hamstrings letting us to do that. So you're going to feel a mild stretch at the back of your legs, that's what we want, but we want to make sure that we're not going too far, that then it encourages the lower spine to round. So we're just going to do one more. So I envision sticking my bottom out, reaching my chest forwards. When we come all the way up this time, we're going to come into a knee bend and a small squat. So we hinge forwards, but only slightly. This time we bend the knees, the hips go back, and when you get to where you can, we push up into the feet. I'm going to go again. So a small hinge, sit back. So we want to check that our chest bone is still facing the wall in front of us and it's not facing the ground beneath us. So if our spine was to come all the way forwards in a squat, that's a lot of load for our lower back. So we want to think of the spine being diagonal now. So when we've done this one, we're going to release our arms and we're going to add an arm float. So as we sit back, arms lift. As we rise, the arms lower. And we're just going to keep checking into our knee alignment. So we're checking that the knees aren't rolling in or falling out. The knees are in line with the second and third toe. And I'm really thinking of those three corners of the feet again. Weight back in the heels. We're just going to do 2 more, everyone. And I want you to feel how the sit bones narrow on the way up. We're driving through the back of the hips. Last time. And then we come back down because I forgot to say stay. So we're going to stay here in our squat and your hands are going to come just above your knees. So you want to have your arms nice and straight now. Your spine is still long and your knees are still aligned with your second and third toe. Taking an in-breath, and on your out-breath, tip your pelvis backwards. So we've already done this to begin with. This time we're doing it in a squat position. So standing cat and cow. And then we're going to inhale, release the pelvis back to neutral. And let's go again. Exhaling to tip the pelvis back. Feel the job the abdominals have to do to round the lower back. How the pelvic floor lifts. How those muscles help to lengthen the lower back and the pelvis back to neutral. This time, start to round the rest of the spine. So the pelvis tips back to round the lower back. We think of the back ribs and the waist lifting up to the ceiling. And then the neck and the head come down last. Looking at your navel and then starting to move back to neutral from your pelvis. Lengthen the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, lifting the head and the neck. Let's go one more time. So we're rounding the spine, almost trying to feel how the abdominals are trying to draw up towards the ceiling. And then lengthening back to neutral. Hands to hips, push yourself all the way up to standing. And from here, I want you to imagine that the back of your body is against an imaginary wall. So we're pressing the shoulders, the rib cage, the pelvis, the back of the head into that wall. Take an in-breath, and on your out-breath, start to nod your chin towards your chest. And we're going to peel the spine forwards away from that wall. Almost like you would do with your bridge when we're on the mat. But this time we're starting from the crown of the head. So peeling each vertebrae away from that wall. We're going to come as far down as we feel our body allows us. Arms completely relaxed, head completely relaxed. When you get to where you can, take a moment to take a breath in. Feel that incredible stretch at the back of your body, and then exhale, navel to spine. Start to feel how your abdominals draw the spine up. Our pelvis comes back to neutral first, and then we start to stack our spine back up to that imaginary wall. We're just going to do one more this time. So in breath, and as you breathe out, tuck the chin, start to roll down. Arms heavy. Almost think of like a ragdoll sensation through the upper body. Abdominals are really working. Now when we get to the bottom, if you've got a band, you're going to grab hold of that band and then you're going to bring it up with you as you roll back up to standing. Okay, once you come back up, we're going to bring our band into this position. So we're going to hook the band with our thumbs and go for fingers or fist, whatever is best for you. Now in this position, we want to have our arms slightly wider than our shoulders and our standing neutral posture. We're going to start to just lift the arms. On your in-breath, drop the shoulders down, and on your out-breath, we draw the band back to the thighs, and we're going to come into chest expansion. So we pull the band back with our arms, our shoulder blade narrow to widen our chest. Inhale to lift the arms, and exhale to pull back. Now, my upper back is really working to pull my arms back against the resistance of the band along my thighs. My glutes are also working to make sure that my pelvis doesn't move backwards because of the band again. And my abdominals are really working to make sure that the force of the band and my arms pulling back doesn't arch my spine. So I'm imagining my front bottom ribs sliding down towards my pelvic bones and a gentle connection of pubic bone towards the belly button. Now this time, as we pull back, we're going to stay here and we're going to start to pump just like we would do in the 100. We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is going to make sure that we're really working the abdominals, because if the body's really moving around now, then you're going to notice that that isn't happening. One more breath. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And lift the arms. Okay, this time shift your weight onto your right leg. Make your left leg lighter and extend your leg forwards. Now, option is to tap the toes, or for more challenge, lift the leg up off the ground. Pull the band back. We're going to do 400 breaths here. Off we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2 more. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is your chest still wide? And last time. And lift the arms, lower the left leg. Shift your weight onto the left leg this time. Start to release the right leg and reach it forwards. Tap down if you need. 4 breaths. And we're finished with this one, so when you're ready, lower the arms, pull the arms back, 4 breaths, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now making sure that the shoulder blades roll back and they're trying to narrow towards your spine. Chest becomes wide and we're really pulling up through the spine and the supporting leg. And when you've finished, lift the arms, lower the foot, relax the arms down and just take a shoulder roll all the way around and down. Okay, from here, we're going to step into the band this time. So just check that you're kind of in the centre. And both feet are going to step in. I'm going to stay on the diagonal. And we're going to have the ends of the band out of the thumb side. So grab and hold this way. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to come back to the squat that we did. So we're going to send the hips back, the body comes forwards. And what's going to happen now is the band becomes slack, and that's okay. Okay, so we're going to drop the shoulders down, we're going to stay here in this squat. We're going to reach our arms slightly forward, so now the band is taut, but we're not really finding tension on it. And when you're ready, we're going to bicep curl. So hands pull towards the shoulders, and release. We've got 10 in total, so 9 more. And I want you to check that the elbows stay the same distance. They also stay the same height, and we're making sure the angle at the knee and the hip doesn't change position. My chest is reaching forwards, and I'm making sure that my spine doesn't change position. And 6, 5, my band's slipping, 4, 3, 2, now hold your bicep curl. We're going to pulse and squat, up an inch, down an inch. Now pushing into your heels, focus on your sit bone area. We're going to feel the glutes starting to burn, and we're going to do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up to standing. Excellent. Now this time, I want you to hold the band so that the ends of the band come out of your pinky finger. And I'm going to double it over because my hands seem to be slipping around on the band today. So we're going to go back into our squat. This time, we're going to pull the elbows back. Okay, wherever my elbows are now, I'm almost gluing my upper arm bones to my rib cage. Take a breath in, exhale, tricep extension, so press the arms back and release. We've got 10, so 9 more. Opening the chest, drawing the shoulders down, stabilizing through the body, making sure that angle and my hip and knees doesn't change. And 5, 4, 3, 2, stay back, 8 pulses with our legs, 8, 7, 6, 5, squeeze between those shoulder blades, 3, 2, can you push your arms back more, and come all the way up. Release the band from around the hands, take a 1 foot out. And you're just going to check here that your foot that's in the band is in the centre of it. Okay, feet back to hip width. I'm going to check our parallel alignment. And we're going to pull both ends, oh, I'm not quite in the centre. I'm going to pull both ends of the band to my left hip. Standing up tall, shift your weight onto your left leg. We're going to start to lighten the right leg as best we can. And we're going to tap it out and in. Out and in. So I'm really trying to keep my body quiet, my pelvis still. Try not to allow the movement of my right leg affect the rest of my body. Now for more of a challenge, don't tap the ground, but lift the leg. We're lifting and lowering. So it's going to be quite a lot of work for your supporting leg, the hip, but it's really good to strengthen the hip for health of the lower back, health of the knee. We're going to do 3 more of these. 2 and 1. Now just pause. This time when we tap or reach out, we're going to add a bend on your supported leg. So we reach out, bend, and in. Good, I keep losing my band. And in. I'm trying my best not to lean to my left, but my body really wants to. So that might mean that your leg doesn't lift as high, your knee doesn't bend as much, and that's okay. And 3, 2, this time tap the foot down, bend your knees, stay here. Okay, lean forwards, sit your hips back, and we're just going to lift our leg up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and 4, 3, 2, 1. Bounce on your supporting leg. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up and in. Okay, take the other foot in the band, all of that on the opposite side. So check your feet are parallel. This time, pull the ends of the band to the right hip, shift your weight. Start to exhale, tap out, inhale, draw in. Now I've got to imagine my pelvis is like concrete, you can't move. The rest of my spine can lift up and away. Now if you can, you're going to lift the leg without tapping down, challenging your balance a little bit more. And 3, 2, 1. We're going to add that knee bend. So we reach out, bend the knee, and in. Remember, you can tap down if you prefer. I'm giving this leg a little bit more of a challenge. Out and in. Trying not to lean to the side. Balance is a little bit more challenging on this side, so I'm really focusing on the wall in front. Now this time, we bend and stay here. Lift the leg up and down, up and down, up and down, up. 4 more, guys. Up and down, up and down. Last 2. Now keep the foot down. We pulse on our supporting leg. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up. This time we're going to step out of the band completely. Use your squat that we've practiced quite a lot today to hinge back, pop the band down. Okay, we've got one final exercise to challenge us. So we want to make sure that we've got some space in front of us and space behind us. And what you're going to do is take your weight onto your right leg and you're going to step very gently your left leg back. Your arms are going to come forwards in line with your shoulders, and just notice that because my leg is behind, I've slightly leaned forwards. This is going to prevent any arching into the lower back, so we want to be in this lean forwards position. What we're going to start to do is tip the body forwards just like we did with our hip hinge at the start. You may want to use something to hold on to. We're going to allow the body to tip forwards and the back leg to follow. The arms are reaching to help with our balance. Now to lift us up, we move from the body lifts, the glute tightens, the back leg lowers. Let's do that 2 more times. So we lift up. I'm really feeling my standing ankle, leg, everything working, hip. And you don't have to lift high, but wherever we came in our hip hinge at the beginning, that's where we're trying to get to. Now as we come forwards this time, we're going to see if we can hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way back up. Oh, feel the fatigue of all those muscles in that leg. Just give your right leg a shake. Same with your left leg as the standing leg. So shift your weight over to your left leg. Tap your right foot back. Lean forwards very slightly. Reach your arms. Take an in-breath. Exhale, start to tip the body. The back leg lifts. So we want to try and maintain a straight line from the crown of our head to our back toes. Chest and hips square to the ground and come all the way back up. Almost like a seesaw action. So the pivot point is our hips over our supporting leg. I'm feeling a little bit stronger on this side, so just notice which side is maybe a little bit easier for yourself. Okay, we've got one more. This time we're going to see if we can hold. So we're going to lift, check your neutral spine, abdominals are in, and hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, we're going to stretch out the glutes a little. So taking one ankle across the knee, sit the hips back. Feel free to grab onto anything, the wall, anything stable for your balance, and just sit the hips back and enjoy that glute stretch. Keeping the spine long, breathing in and then out. See if you can deepen. One more breath. And then coming up, let's change sides. So crossing the ankle over, draw the knee wide, and then as you bend your knee, it acts as like your thigh acts as a shelf for your leg that's crossed over. Now use your breathing in, out. Can you sink a little deeper? And come all the way up. Find your standing alignment. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. Breathe out and relax the arms down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale as you lower, interlace your hands at your lower back. And drop the arms down, lift the chest up. And release the arms all the way. Well done, guys. Thank you for joining me today. So if you liked the class, please subscribe, and for future notifications for classes, click the bell icon. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.